It's your boy, it's the boy here, coming back at you with another fucking Cleopatra type size pain in the ass. I swear to God. Listen, I know that I said I couldn't help but think that portals and time tunnels have some kind of momentum. I couldn't stop thinking about the momentum. Somebody 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 made this video, okay? And I don't care who came first. If he had any idea about it, whatever, I don't care. Let me explain to you something. I was talking about time, not space. Space is more simple. The kind of portals you see in Portal are different. It's as if you're walking through a goddamn. From before, I shouldn't be doing this. What notifications do I have? Okay, that was hot. Let's go on to this now. Whoops. I will begin by prefacing, holy shit, there's no freaking way. There's no way.
Who's ever played Portal has created a portal configuration where anything can fall infinitely. But where does the energy for this come from?
Gravity. But also, it's a misunderstanding of how gravity actually works. Because if you think of the top as being a continuous repeat of the bottom, there would not just be a block falling, there would be a tunnel of constant suck that's flowing from the bottom to the top. It wouldn't be able to stop. It would be like if you're falling from the Empire State Building and you've been falling for another 5 minutes. Don't quote me on that.
Do portals just created out of thin air?
Yes, literally. Because what happens is the flow from gravity is a constant, the planet is pushing towards everything, stuff. And the air will easily end up going towards the bottom portal and get pushed through to the other side and everything. People have talked about this. You don't have an excuse.
Letting you build a perpetual motion machine? Yes, because this is an example of incorrect.
It's not incorrect. The only thing incorrect about portals is the way portals can function is they are an extra dimensional connection which basically takes 2 points and says they are the same place. So it's weird. Direction doesn't even matter. And it's a game, but still, the gravity of, if you were to make it the way the game says it, all of the gravity and everything else like that checks out, but is not properly represented by atmosphere and all of that. But what he's about to show you is going to piss you off.
If gravity in a universe with portals, which assumes that at every point gravity points downward, regardless of the position.
No, not downward. Inward, towards the planet. Technically, in the direction of the planet's travel. It's the momentum of the object moving towards you. We feel it as a gravity force, but it's just its momentum it's meeting us. It's not a downward force. You're not even understanding gravity in a general sense. Now you're
and orientation of the portals. But
okay. If you were to have a different orientation of the portals, for one thing, yeah, whatever is happening on the top and what is happening on the side, or if it's on the bottom.
in reality, portals should bend or teleport.
No, I'll slap you. No, that's not how that works. Not at all. In the portal universe and how it actually functions. Because there is a zero gap between A and B. There is no attractive force towards the portal in anything other than gravity regular itself. So think about everything that would happen in a regular room and think what would happen if you had like a tunnel that went on the outside of all dimensions and forgot about how every other bit of reality works, and then it's also instantaneous, so whatever's going out goes in instantaneous, no matter how distant it is. Something, because the extra dimensional space is like one of those manifolds where the further you look into it, it just keeps on expanding. It's one of those type of weird deals where all of space has been collapsed, and for some reason we're able to navigate and pinpoint and make connections to these absolute crunches. And it's cohesive, and multiple portals can do it with their own individual signatures leading to their own individual pathways. They don't traverse anything other than the space that's in the room. So there is no gravitational force from the portal itself. There's no area in the portal to generate a gravitational force. The only area that gravitational force generates is the portal surface that it's on, and planet, moon, whatever. And what was happening, say, in Portal 2 when she shot it at the moon is blowout, where all of gravity shoved the air down and out of the moon's surface. By the way, the moon's surface is not a good portal conductor. It is refined moon dust, not moon dust. It is a different substance. They got that wrong. I don't care. If you were to put a portal surface on the moon, all of the systems work. It's a technicality that I will let go, but that is all.
Gravity. And here's what it looks like.
No.
With this kind of gravity, you can't create a perpetual motion machine, and it doesn't violate the laws of physics. But why?
You are violating the laws of physics by making this video. I'm not going to go easy on you. This is nonsense. Right? The up and down motion that you explained there is analogous to two portals that are both facing up, where the gravity of the Earth is pulling on the object in downward because both portals are on the floor. This doesn't work if you put it on the ceiling, on the walls, or whatever else. There is a different effect then.
And what do all these arrows and colors mean? I know none of this makes sense yet, but later I'll explain.
Honey, it's not that it doesn't make sense, it's just that you're wrong. If you could say that portals had their own gravity, maybe they would act like this. Portals don't act like this. Actual portals still wouldn't act like this. They would still flow from one side to the other. It doesn't matter if it's a length, like reality would say it has to be, or a 0 point, as Portal World has it to be. It's still a flow.
what is drawn here and how I calculated it, what equations make it work, what criteria the correct gravity should meet, how this gravity affects the world and objects in different setups. And of course, we will look at how this affects the most debated portal physics question.
You get an F. Absolute F. All portals are moving to start with. I'm still going to have to hear you out.
And what kind of gravity we get in that situation. And specifically for this video, I programmed a pretty complex physical simulation that calculates not only gravity with portals, but also how it affects a physical object. So everything you will see later comes.
You literally just shoved a box through the back end of a portal. There is no surface there to go through. That's not how that works. So whatever your diagram is, what the hell are you even talking about?
From actual calculations and not just my speculations.
Oh yes,
the most
no, I
interesting-
don't care about calculations. Don't give a damn. You can throw those at me all you like. Oh, what is this?
Thing happens with gravity in 3 dimensions. As for the inside,
Are you that same guy? Cause you just talk about wait, no. Are you that same guy? Oh, you are that guy. I know you. The moment you started talking crap about gravity in the wrong way that it does not work, you're getting flack. It doesn't matter if it's applicable to real science that people can actually do, you're still going to get flack, buddy. I don't care. Because I'm done listening to false information.
wait, what is this? You solve gravity for 2 only, and this is the sponsored dimension. Oh, I'm good, thanks. Just give me a minute. Well, fine, since you closed the portal. This video is sponsored by Boot.dev, a platform where you learn backend development in Python, SQL, and Go by actually building things and writing a ton of code. Well, everyone has basics, but are there any in-depth lessons? Yes, but addition. I've opened the
I'm sorry, dude. You can talk a lot of things, and some of your stuff has been correct, but when you start talking about gravity and the way it should work, you are wrong. I don't know why the format still saved with it being half on the screen. I don't care.
asking,
It's fixed.
why is such gravity incorrect? What exact law does it violate? It breaks one portal axiom that I introduced in this video. I recommend watching it first.
No.
But for now, let me briefly remind you what it is about. We are considering portals that don't just teleport you from one place to another through some kind of scanning and reconstruction devices, but portals that bend space itself in such a way that this space bending looks.
Okay, no. First of all, no. The portals in Portal don't do that. I'm still gonna find ways to have beef with you.
It's like a teleportation. Sort of like how wormholes work. They connect distant parts of space close to each other in a.
No, it's literally a wormhole, buddy. The difference is, with portals, you're doing an extra dimensional connection. So the wormhole thing is, again, physically bending space-time. 1, don't do it. You get explosions. 2, shut up.
Higher dimension. The special thing about this model is that now the portal surface is just a way to make a cut through this space bending. Because if you take such an elongated portal surface, the final space bending still converges to the same shape as with a flat surface. And if you want to shine a flashlight near a flat portal, the light ray will arrive at exactly the same place as for this semicircular portal. Because first it teleports through the orange portal, then returns back. So just by looking at it, it is impossible to tell what the shape the portal surface is. For any
I got issues with that. Give me a second. Any kind of bend in the portal, apparently even for something passing through everything, is like, oh, it's going to connect, but when you start bending how the portal is oriented, you're changing its angle of entry, and then you're essentially making a bunch of separate, how do I put it? Like there's a bunch of wait, you literally can't. You literally contradicted yourself. You cannot have gravity and stuff be able to come from portals in different ways, but then when you make it so that it's bent, for some reason the direction is no longer important. But any portal that has a direction that is different than the input, like there's going to be bent portals are an odd abstraction that somehow like is extremely hard to wrap my head around right now because and in the one case you're saying that light will just go straight through and nothing will be affected whatsoever, but if gravity is changing depending on, I guess you could say, why would it matter the orientation of the portal as long as they match, as long as the input output. But then you have this whole idea of the internal structure creating its gravity effect that is independent of our own gravity effect that you calculate to be correct. Yet in that instance, you better compensate for this. What are you talking about?
The same. Or you could say that this surface simply does not exist. And this space-bending model can be reduced to a pretty simple axiom that a portal behavior does not depend on the shape of its teleporting surface. And now, how exactly does naive gravity violate this axiom? Actually, this portal setup obeys it, but it still violates the law of energy conservation. Therefore, let's look.
So what if you had it again? What if you had it so that the top portal is facing the other way? Obviously, the input-output would have to be inversely bent in order to make it the same. Normally, portals are made with the concavity and then concavity, and other people have made games like that. Stuff ends up squishing and everything, and whatever. But if you make the concavity the same, there's still a idea of like what is the actual entry point. And when you think of concavity, forget it, because the true entry point was always flat to begin with. That can come into effect. Think of it as a flat portal anyway, because then you just have an internal volume that you're passing through, technically, but not. It's pedantic.
At another scene. Here an object goes into the blue portal and emerges from the upper portal. It falls straight down, everything makes sense. At every point, gravity points downward. But look, at this moment, on one side of the portal, gravity acts downward on the object, and on the other side, it acts leftward. And that's exactly where the problem for our axiom lies. Let's take a
You're not wrong, so it should be turning as it goes through. So why didn't you look at that and do proper simulation?
circular
What?
portal surface. Here gravity downward at every point too. But now, when the object enters the portal, it will feel downward gravity longer than leftward gravity and will end up
Right.
arriving at a different place.
Hey guys, aujourd'hui on tourne la vidéo Je trouve une femme à mon...
Maybe not.
So, you get a different result in each case. Yes, you could say this depends on how I program portals, and I could make gravity point
Could.
leftward here. Then everything will work the same. But how will you find the place where gravity should make a sharp turn on a continuous space bending? There are no portal surfaces here. So let's figure out how we can actually teleport gravity.
I'm trying to think of how, when you describe a window that you're walking through, and then somehow, like, you pass a star. The star's gravity inside of it, you would think, maybe could be the strongest force that is experienced by any objects. So they would go into the portal, enter, and never leave.
So that it doesn't break this axiom and stays consistent. To understand how to teleport gravity through portals, first let's remember what we know about it. The key thing is that its force can be calculated using Newton's law of gravitation. It works
Which is
for
incorrect.
2-point masses separated by some distance. And when we look at this equation, we can see its main problem: distance. It is clear how to measure the distance between 2 points when we have an
True.
infinite flat space. But what if we have portals? In that case, we have regular distance r1 and we have distance through portals r2. Which one should we choose? Or take this case, where there is a portal between the objects. In any direction, there is no direct path from one object to another, because the portal blocks the path. Then should the distance go around the portal? All this is unclear, and this makes it hard to calculate gravity with portals.
But
One of the first solutions.
when you place a portal in a picture, you still need to orient which end is the open face. And it might have been clear that all the portals were facing that way, so that this one would have faced this way, this one would have faced this way, and so yeah, there's some kind of other stuff that you can calculate and stuff about it, so you can understand about it. But instead, you're saying there's a portal in the way. No, there's a portal literally conducting it, because it's the same thing as an empty window in a regular space. The only thing is that the other end of the window is on the other side of the room facing the opposite direction.
Solutions that came to my mind is to imagine as if there are gravity carrier particles, gravitons. They constantly
There
stream
aren't,
out from any
but-
mass and go in all directions. And when they reach another body, they give it a pull directed back towards where
technically
the
there are.
graviton came from. This model can be tweaked to give the same results as Newtonian gravity. And it's pretty easy to plug portals into such a model, because in that case, they should just teleport gravitons as shown here. In this case, you get a bunch of very sharp gravitational shadows from the portals, which means the body will feel abrupt changes in gravity.
You're talking about the gravity that is exerted from the objects themselves. If you only reference objects that exert gravity, if Earth is the biggest gravitational force, that's the one you're focusing on, not whatever these two things are doing, which have their own gravity and are only... I mean...
And behind portals, there won't be any gravity at all. Meaning...
Again, that's relation to them, an individual set of things, as if they was putting this in space. and nothing else can influence it whatsoever, everything else is empty, then this is correct. You are up to a D minus.
In this model, gravity doesn't go around the portals. I abandoned this model and didn't develop it further, but I wanted to show how it could work since most of you probably had the same idea.
You.
Before I explain the next model, I want to show the visual language of all the following simulations. So here's a planet with some mass, where white means no mass and gray means there is mass. This planet creates gravity, which is calculated trivially by Newton's law. To make things easier, from now on, we won't talk about the gravitational force between two bodies. Instead, we will talk about gravitational acceleration, which only depends on one mass. Basically, it is the force that an object with a mass of 1 would feel at any point in space around this planet. The color shows how strong the acceleration is. Dark color means weak or zero gravity, and yellow means 1g. We can make the mass 10 times bigger, and then we get a gradient of red and white, where white is 10g or more. You can see that outside the planet, gravity changes predictably, and inside the planet, it smoothly decreases to zero as you get closer to the center, because parts of the planet...
Okay, you're still forgetting that objects like a planet are moving through space. The momentum is still going to carry and stuff, or their spin is going to have an effect. It doesn't go to zero. The spin effect inside the planet is not negligible. There's still gravity inside of the center of the planet. What are you on about? I'm beginning to think that you deserve an E.
Gravity cancel each other out. Next, we can add
That's not how gravity works.
Point in the direction of gravity. And we can make the arrow size represent the strength of gravity at that point.
Sure.
Next, let's add another small planet, and their combined gravity will look like this. We see a place between planets where their forces balance and gravity equals 0. If we...
You gotta ask yourself, this is analogous to the Sun and Jupiter both having a spot that they are both pulling equally. That doesn't mean zero gravity. It means that the pull of the Sun and the pull of Jupiter are equally attracting. It's not zero. And yes, the gravity of a distant body and the gravity of an individual body affecting the stuff local nearby are two separate functions. You have to consider them independently of each other. They are not the same function, although their relation to mass is similar. I'll be back, maybe.